Hi, welcome back. Hello, everybody. We left off this week, last session with because they are so imperative to spiritual growth, one can rest assured that the three elements that the Viceroy needed and requested for his journey, physical health, completeness in his financial state, and completeness in Torah knowledge, leads us to the question, well, how do I get these things? If mental, physical, and financial well-being are the three pillars that put a person in position to succeed in matters of spirituality, then there must be a way to ask. And it is, in fact, if one approaches Hashem with simplicity and sincerity and expresses in prayer that his desire for these physical blessings is solely for the assistance of his spiritual pursuit, his prayers will be graced by a special measure of divine attention. Let's go into that a bit. Closer look at the text reveals that the Viceroy doesn't wait for his requests to be fulfilled, his request for knowledge, basically honesty, openness, and willingness to do the journey and to be open about it. He doesn't wait necessarily for a properly healthy physical body, and he doesn't wait for financial well-being. He makes his request for them, however, and departs. Although in the chapters ahead we will learn that his requests were indeed granted, it is possible to suggest that the lack of overt attention paid to this detail teaches us a lesson. Although one must ask Hashem for physical, intellectual, and financial well-being, he mustn't wait until his prayers are answered before embarking on his spiritual odyssey. Is it not true that we come to believe in a power greater than ourselves, and then we make a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of this higher power? We don't wait until this happens. Rather, we begin our search in tandem with constant prayer. If we do so, we will find that with time our requests will be granted. And then we'll go on and talk about different types of prayer and meditation. There's a footnote in 9 in the following chapter regarding Histadlus, what part we need to do in that. So how can I survive or keep going in the face of what ultimately becomes the failures, falls, disappointments, roadblocks in the context of triumph? Before beginning to detail the Viceroy's epic journey and the many obstacles and disappointments he meets along the way, Rabbi Nachman strengthens us by disclosing that in the end, the Viceroy's mission emerges a success. While it doesn't seem like the best idea for a storyteller to give away the ending of his tale before it even begins, Reb Nachman does so here for the purpose of granting his reader the retrospective viewpoint that will allow us to view the Viceroy's devastating failures in the broad context of his ultimate triumph. So we do read at the end of the 12-step meetings a vision for you. We say the serenity prayer. We invoke things that give us hope. Our sages teach that when David HaMelech composed Ashrei, according to the Aleph Bes, he skipped over the letter Nun so as not to include the negative topic of Nephila, falling and failing. Yet while not overtly, David in fact mentions falling and failing in the verse that begins with the letter Samech. Somech Hashem lechol hanoflim, God supports all those who fall. That's from Brachos 4b. So, can I talk about my failures? My falls? How? This teaches us that while it is too difficult and perhaps counterproductive to discuss failure and descent on its own, don't necessarily want to dwell on it, it becomes possible and proper to mention it in the context of a positive eventuality. Once Hashem's unconditional support, Somech Hashem, has been invoked, it is now possible to mention the painful facts of spiritual failure, the Lechol Hanoflim. Having laid a foundation of triumph and ultimate success, it is now possible for Rabbi Nachman to lead us by the hand through the Viceroy's journey with all its heartbreak and trouble. As it says here in the footnote, this is an important lesson for life. It's also why we continue to go to meetings and why newcomers are advised to go to meetings with people with long-term sobriety or to listen to their talks. As social beings, situations invariably arise that require us to provide guidance and attempt to assist someone in fixing the wrongs in his life. This is especially true of parents and teachers whose responsibility it is to make sure that the children in their charge are developing in a proper, healthy way. However, how must I act? We request for help. Me, how must I act? Before talking about any wrongdoing, misdeed, or sin, it is important that we first create the support of Somech Hashem. In other words, prefacing our rebuke with words of comfort and encouragement, and praising the child for all the things he is doing right. Providing context that lessens the severity of the misdeed and communicating to him just how much Hashem loves him. Part of the program. Remember, as we're mentoring and sponsoring, as we're welcoming people to meetings, practicing our rebuke with words of comfort and encouragement, praise for all the things he is doing right, providing context that lessens the severity of the misdeed and communicating to him just how much his higher power loves him. The only way to focus on noflim, the unpleasant deeds that need fixing, is to first lay a general foundation of sumech, love, comfort, and support. We'll close throughout the tale. We're going to encounter the words "a very long time" over and over again. The epic search for the essence of Yiddishkeit is neither short nor easy. Serenity is a journey. It takes a long time, spanning many years and even decades. What traits are vital to my success? Because it is such an awesome privilege to return to a life of communion with the Ribbono Shel Olam, the Master of the world, the purpose of our entire existence, tremendous patience and fortitude are required. It is in order to provide us with the strength to endure the woeful tale of Viceroy's struggle that Rabbi Nachman encourages us with the liberating knowledge of a happy ending. If we accompany our inner viceroy on his search for the princess of passion, purpose, meaning, excitement, vitality, and vibrant faith, we are sure to find her in the end. Quick review of lessons for life, the 4 points before we close for today's session and start again next week, chapter 5, the side path to spiritual success and how our Viceroy travels. Lessons for life from our previous discussion. Oftentimes, because it is our perception of heavenly wrath that drives us away from Avodas Hashem, heaven-sent inspiration will not suffice to convince us of our error. Instead, we need to feel an awakening from within. B. Every Jewish person contains an inner point of perfect purity, a place which remains ever untouched by past misdeeds, regardless of their severity. It is this Nekudat Tovah within which gives us no rest and relentlessly compels us to pursue a relationship with Hashem. Feeling restless, irritable, and discontent? No, there is a point within. C. 3 elements create an emotional foundation conducive to spiritual searching: intellectual, physical, and financial well-being. Read the book, get the intellectual insights. Physical, take care of our health and our bodies. Brush your teeth, go to the doctor, eat well, eat better. And financial well-being, get a job, do what it takes, go to work. Even though we have not yet been granted these 3 blessings, it is proper to set out on our spiritual journey in tandem with some sincere prayer. Start, step 1, work the steps. And finally, it is only possible to discuss the pain of failure when it is enveloped by a spirit of hope and ultimate triumph. When we must first rebuke a child or a friend, it is imperative that we lay a foundation of comfort and support before focusing on the misdeed. Thank you very much.